Welcome to the Friends of Dan Music Podcast. I'm Dan Miles. You've been listening to the music of Circe Link. That was from a CD she released earlier this year called Dumb Luck. Though she's technically a solo artist, she's closely identified with her producer and frequent songwriting partner, Christian Nesmith, who plays guitar on many of her tracks, including the one we just heard, which was actually written by Christian's father, Mike Nesmith, in case it sounded familiar to you. So far, Circe has released 7 studio albums, a live album, and an EP. Her first album, the ironically titled More Songs from Circe Link, came out in 2003. It was an acoustic-oriented album, and every song on it was written by Circe. Her follow-up album, Let's Go Together, was released in 2004, and again, she was the primary author of the material. Her third album, 2005's One Drop of Poison, marked her first writing collaborations with Christian Nesmith. In 2006, she released a live album that she recorded in Japan, featuring material from her 3 studio albums. Next came an album called Moody Girl, in which she experimented with some different moods, as the title suggests. Her next one, Vonnegut's Wife, was a significant departure stylistically from her previous work, with darker lyrics and a more layered production style. After that came her excellent California Kid album, then finally her latest, Dumb Luck, both of which are comprised exclusively of material that was co-written by Christian and Circe, with the lone exception of Calico Girlfriend, the song we just heard. I've been looking forward to speaking with this diverse and talented artist about her work, so let's get her on the line. Joining me on the phone from Los Angeles, California is Circe Link. Welcome.
Well, howdy. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Well, I've heard you say that your very earliest songs were actually written in your dreams, literally, while you were sleeping, which seems sort of unusual. You know, people tend to forget their dreams pretty quickly as they return to consciousness. So how were you able to remember all these fully formed songs?
I'm a California hippie. So my mom, when I was growing up, was really into all the really new age arts, and dream analysis and interpretation and recall was one of them. And so from an early age, I started learning how to do dream recall and lucid dreaming and manipulation of the dream state. So that came in really handy. For the rest of my life, I would come up with painting ideas, which is what I did before I did music, is primarily art. And then one day I just heard these songs in my dreams, and I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. So I made myself remember it, and when I woke up, I grabbed the little tape recorder and jotted it down. And so for me, it was pretty easy. I know for the average person, that's probably a pretty weird way to write songs, but I've heard that James Taylor does that. So.
Well, you know, most musicians, myself included, will tend to cover other people's work for quite a while before ever daring to take a stab at writing anything themselves. You know, most people are afraid to, because it's a lot harder to write a Beatles song than to cover a Beatles song. So it's interesting that your own entry into that world came the way it did. It almost sounds like divine intervention.
Well, yeah, I call it cosmic radio. I think that it's more of like being a conduit for the divine music that's out there, and if you're lucky enough to get something, then maybe that's how it comes through for some people too.
So do you normally write words and music simultaneously then?
I write in every possible configuration of writing that there is, honestly. Sometimes it's melody, sometimes it's melody and words, sometimes it's words and then the melody comes later, sometimes it's I'll hear instruments, sometimes it's a whole song at once. That's really hard to do because when I first started hearing music, I didn't play any music, and I had no experience with how you would go about capturing that stuff. So I had to sing stuff to people to say, well, this is the part I'm hearing. So it just depends. It all comes out in a different way. I try not to be precious about it. I try not to say, oh, well, I've never written that way, so this can't be right. Now I know a lot more music theory, and I'm capable of figuring a lot of stuff out. But I don't necessarily need to all the time, because that's part of how Christian and I write together, is he really informs a lot of the chordal choices.
One of your unique artistic attributes is your ability to convincingly capture both the sound and the look of decades past. And I know you're aware of this because I see you playing to that strength with your artwork. You design all of your own album artwork at a professional level because, as you said, you have a background in visual mediums that predates your involvement with music. So since you're so proficient in both, what I'm wondering is whether music inspires visual imagery for you, or if it's sometimes the other way around where you're trying to capture what you see with sound, or are they really just unrelated?
Oh, I'd say they're fused. I'd have a hard time picking chicken or the egg in that. I almost feel like there's some sort of synesthesia with it. I have very strong visions that influence both the music and vice versa. So, yeah. I actually listened to a show about a woman who was had classic synesthesia, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I don't see colors when I hear music per se like they do. It's not like I hear a C and I see black or something. But the images and the sounds are definitely married up for me.
Well, I know you're a California native. In fact, you've even titled one of your albums California Kid. I'm going to play a track from that album, but before I do, I want to ask you what inspired you to write the song Random Act of Kindness.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm kind of a goody two-shoes in a way like that. Like I said, a little bit of a hippie, so I really do believe in the power of community and people being kind and loving to one another to make a better society. So I think a lot of songwriters often fall to the easy place it is when you're first writing songs to write about something that feels bad. In the same way that the blues makes you feel good because you're singing about how bad you feel.
Yeah.
I think it's really natural and really lovely. I think hopefully as a writer you graduate, you allow yourself to get into wider metaphors. And so Random just happened because I really wanted to write something positive. And I had read a story on a website, I think it was helpothers.com or .org, and it was a story about a taxi cab driver who was driving a woman to a resting home where she knew she was going to be dying. And he drove her around the city, and she just reminisced the whole time. And he didn't charge her on the meter. And I just thought, man, that's so beautiful. And it just made me think about, can I write a song that would inspire people to do such wonderful things? I don't know that I have achieved that, but I think I've touched on it, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's a pretty neat song.
Yeah, well, that's what I was after, the little event that triggered it. And, the taxi driver, that's, pretty poignant. So now when people hear the song, they can keep that in mind. I think that the musical production, the tune itself, matches up nicely with the lyrics. So that's why I'm starting with that one.
Yeah, good choice.
So let's check it out from her 2010 California Kid CD. This is Circe Link with Random Act of Kindness.
Too many people turn away. No, there
Okay, well, that's got a nice, positive message to it. What I want to do now is go directly into another track, then get your take on how you reconcile these very disparate concepts. So now let's check this out.
This is about people whose problem is pain. Listen, 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 listen.
Black silk made of innuendo, swathed of lit pink rose. Backstitch dropped onto the pillow, taste of perfumed smoke. Nylons can be double-crossed at ankles and at wrists, and love is good at any cost. Flowers or with fists. Go ahead and hit me. Kisses and compassion. Go ahead and hit me with lies and sweet
Bend me to your will, make me understand. Go ahead and hit me if you can. So after this sunny optimism of random act of kindness, how do we end up in this dark place?
Well, I think you should. I think a writer should allow themselves to go where the muse dictates. And this song is actually a co-write with an artist named Michiko Fremon, and she was living in Florida at the time. And she's a brilliant poet, and I also love poetry. So we started writing this song in an email. We wondered if we could even do it. So I think she wrote the first line, and I wrote the second line, and back and forth until I said, well, it's got to be time for the chorus now. So I think I went ahead and just wrote the chorus. And she had some melodic ideas that she sketched out on a demo of just her and a guitar, vocal and a guitar. She sent that to me, and then I kind of developed some more. I think I had the melody for the chorus and the bridge. I definitely had the melody for the bridge. So we kind of constructed it together. So it's a bit of a combination. I think it's a song about feminism, about sexuality, about raunch culture, and about the symbols of sexuality that women must traverse in their lifetime as not only young women, but as in women as we get older, and what that means to us to be sexually empowered versus being sexual victims.
Oh, interesting. Well, that track was called Hit Me. It's from your Vonnegut's Wife album, which has the vibe of a poetry slam, a lot of vivid imagery. And it's interesting you're playing off another writer. It's certainly your most rock-oriented album, even had a little homage to Robert Plant there at the end.
Yeah.
Well, your title track for California Kid is about that never-ending influx of Hollywood hopefuls that descends upon L.A., attracted by the lure of fortune and fame. And speaking of Los Angeles, getting back to the contrast between those two songs, I'm reminded of the debate you sometimes hear regarding which was the true sound of 60s L.A. Was it the Beach Boys or the Doors? Was it Let's Go Surfing Now, Everybody's Learning How? Or was it Motel Money, Murder, Madness? And I think the answer is they're both the sound of L.A. It's just two sides of the coin, really, and they're equally valid.
Absolutely. I'd never heard that there was any controversy or comparison of the two. I mean, there's so much going on. Los Angeles is such a big city, and the culture at the time particularly was so vibrant with music. I would say now there's a homogeny across the board in the entire music industry, and LA reflects that as well. But at the time, I'm certain there were other bands that were also really influential.
Of course.
That were, there was the whole California country. There was Jackson Browne and all those people at the Troubadour. It was a very, very rich time.
Sure, it's an oversimplification. I think what it is people who don't play have nothing better than to sit around and debate this kind of, pointless thing. Because it's true, if you go, well, that fluffy Beach Boys, let's sit in the sun and surf, that's, superficial, but it's not. I mean, it's legit. And then, Jim Morris's, Father, yes, son, I want to kill you, very dark. And speaking of the Doors, Robbie Krieger got in a fight with his girlfriend that inspired him to write a song that went, come on and hit me, babe, can't you see that I'm not afraid? He presented this song to the band, and Jim Morrison said, I'm not about to go out on stage and invite thousands of people to come up and hit me. So the compromise was hit me became touch me.
That's interesting. I did not know that. Fascinating.
And now you know the rest of it. Now, so to your credit, you actually had the balls to call your song Hit Me. So take that, Jim Morrison, you wimp.
Well, I have to say that Jim Morrison was hugely influential on me as a lyricist. I really liked his poetry. I am a huge poet, a fan of poetry. I'm a big fan of Anne Sexton and Charles Bukowski, and some of the edgier poets, obviously Sylvia Plath. I also like Rumi. There's just so many of them that I love. But when I was particularly young, when a lot of my friends in L.A., there was a lot of people doing a lot of heroin. And I was really more interested in the psychedelic aspect of Jim Morrison and those lyrics and the psychedelic movement of inter-exploration. So he was a lifesaver for me in a way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss the point about Jim Morrison. He was a film and acting student, and what he was, and the Lizard King and everything, he was kind of acting the role of rock star. And if you watch that concert at the Hollywood Bowl, there's a moment where he kind of breaks character. He sees a grasshopper on the stage, and he starts going, grasshopper, and he does this poem. Then he looks at it and he goes says to the audience, "Oh, I blew it. It's a moth." Like in a normal voice, and then he's back in character again. This is the so
totally. I've seen that.
Yeah, so it's like you saw behind the veil there for a minute, but.
Yeah.
Well, while I do enjoy elaborate productions like your track Hit Me, there's also something to be said for more spare and stripped down recordings. When you toured Japan, you just had a 4-piece. It was yourself on vocals plus a second vocalist, Christian on guitar plus a second guitarist, just the 4 of you, no bass, no drums.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a track from that album in a minute, but first I want to play a brief clip that was posted on Facebook recently. This is going to be the very recognizable voice of a highly respected artist who apparently has become one of your newest and biggest fans. So let's listen.
Circe, I just listened to you sing We've Only Just Begun. It is magical. You have a lovely, lovely voice. It's as pure and as sweet as Karen's. I've never said that to anybody, ever. It's a really wonderful, wonderful voice. I want to hear you sing a lot. I want to hear you sing a lot of my songs. Okay?
And you have Dumb Luck, so you're going to listen to her CD, right?
I am. I have the CD. I'm going to check it out.
Cool. You're awesome. Thank you, my friend.
Sweet.
Big love.
Well, of course, that was legendary songwriter Paul Williams. The female voice was our mutual friend, Heather Carter. She's the one who recorded and posted the clip, and presumably also the one who exposed him to your music, so go Heather. So how does it feel to hear the writer of We've Only Just Begun literally say that you're the greatest thing since Karen Carpenter?
Well, I don't think that's what he said. I think he gave me a really wonderful compliment, and I can die happy now. I mean, I've loved him since I was old enough to walk over to the stereo and put on music. I love his writing. I think he's brilliant, and I was pretty much speechless for about a week. Just stupid with no words. I was absolutely stupid.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's unexpected, and second, he's looking at the camera, talking directly to you, and
Tell me about it.
And third, he's somebody whose opinion everyone respects because he's walked the walk. He's written the classics.
Yeah, and knowing a little bit more about him now, and the website that he does, the Gratitude website and Trust, it's just he's a really, really amazing person, amazing human being too, full of love and full of soul. And so to be able to be recognized on that level as well, with such real authenticity from his heart, to say that he was moved, I'm moved about that.
Well, now it's time for our listeners to get moved, because I'm going to play a track that I think very effectively supports his assertion regarding the quality of your voice. From the Live in Japan CD, here's my guest, Circe Link, with her original composition, Every Blessing is a Curse in Disguise.
I woke up this morning and pulled back my blinds. The sun, it was shining, too big and too bright. I wish it was raining, because on this day I'm putting my baby into his grave. I sit on a high hill under a big sky, with people gathered who bid their goodbyes upon the soft grass one wish to die in my youth, but I know I'll live long. It's our family way. I'll be alone till Judgment Day. Every blessing's a curse in disguise, 'cause God and the devil conspire. You'll listen and learn if you're wise. Every blessing's a curse in disguise. Every blessing's a curse in disguise. Thank you.